Shabbat Shalom, my friends. Yes, I have laryngitis. I hope that it won't trouble you to listen to me any more than it's troubling me to speak with you. Let's hope it works. It's February 2023, and Monday, February 6th, is Tu B'Shvat, the 15th day of the Hebrew month of Shvat, the new year of trees, Rosh Hashanah Le'ilanot, the annual celebration of the role of nature in the shaping of humankind on this planet. The fact that I am not focusing on the environment today must not be read in any way as an indication that I do not strongly believe that protecting the environment is a major Jewish value. It is a major Jewish value. For those looking for backup materials, please go to Google and read some of the essays by Rabbi Arthur Waskow, W-A-S-K-O-W. You'll be glad that you did. It's great stuff. But even before Tu B'Shvat on the 6th, this Shabbat, Saturday, February 4th, is one of the most special Shabbatot of the year, Shabbat Shirah, the Sabbath of Song. Our Sedra is B'Shalach, Exodus 13:17 and following. So much that is wondrously familiar is told here. The actual Exodus from Egypt begins. The people are guided by a pillar of cloud and a pillar of fire. An angel is in attendance to make certain that things go right. Pharaoh sends a vast army against the fleeing slaves. Moses held out his hand, and the sea split. And after the Israelites crossed over, Moses held out his hand, and the waters closed in on the Egyptians. Thus, the Israelites were delivered, our Sedra, this week. Emerging from the narrow straits of the sea, our people is born. Happy birthday, Jewish people. It's your birthday this Shabbat. Moses and the Israelites sang a song to God, Shabbat Shirah, the Sabbath of Song. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, who is like you, O God, among all of the gods worshipped by human beings. You are majestic in holiness, awesome in splendor, working wonders. And then it happened. Miriam and the women among the Israelites picked up their hand drums and they began dancing and singing, Shiru Ladonai, Ki Ga'o Ga'ah, sing unto the eternal. For God has triumphed gloriously. Redemption, our redemption song. But was it a miracle? Most of you know that I have a lot of trouble with that word, miracle. But Martin Buber once wrote that no matter what actually had happened, the people viewed it as a miracle. If they thought it was a miracle, maybe it was. We could study this Sedra for many hours and still not fully understand what is happening here. An angel lending support, an angel. A sea splitting, a song that easily acknowledges that people on earth served many gods, but the God of Israel is supreme among all the gods. And by the way, where did Miriam and the women get all those hand drums? Did the fleeing slaves just shove them into their suitcases and backpacks as they carefully and casually left Egypt and they're dancing? Was that dancing just spontaneous joy? Or did sacred dance already have a special place in Jewish worship? And why, when all the partying was over, did the former slaves begin to wail that they really had better lives back in Egypt than as refugees fleeing to survive? Aviva Zornberg refers to the countless incidents of the people challenging what is happening all around them. No food, no water, no exit plan for what comes next in their lives. She called all of that corrosive moral challenges. I like nice phrases. Corrosive moral challenges. The players in this drama just don't understand. They can't grasp what is happening around them. What is this manna stuff? We don't recognize it at all. Is the whole natural world turning upside down? And since when, by the way, does water spontaneous spout from rocks in a desert? Moses, is this just another one of those magical tricks that you guys worked in Egypt? And besides, what was the point in leaving Egypt anyway? Now, we can even imagine the Egyptian soldiers riding proudly in their war chariots, asking their own corrosive moral challenges. Why are we here? What did we do wrong? Is this Pharaoh really acting with the kind of wisdom that we generally associate with God's? Corrosive moral challenges lead to fear and confusion. The world is radically, permanently changing all around them. And my friends, no one seems really pleased with that. So Pharaoh reverses himself and tries to recapture his fleeing slaves. Now, Zornberg, interesting, wonders her language, whether Pharaoh got off on being cruel to slaves. Did Pharaoh like seeing people suffering so that as a direct result he could prosper? Give me back my slaves and all will be well again in my world. If I don't get my slaves back, the loss will be unspeakable. And the Israelites? Well, in an empty, meaningless world, maybe they needed the suffering that the life of slavery provided. Because that suffering at least gave a framework of meaning to their lives. Freedom requires individual responsibility. Freedom exposes you to random attacks by unknown enemies. Freedom means that you have to make decisions. What if we make the wrong decisions? Who needs the aggravation? Confusion and fear. Let's go back to the crossing of the sea. Do you think that the Israelites were just dancing and singing and jumping all about for joy as they passed through the walls of water? Do you think that was what was going on? Is that how you would have responded as you walked through those walls of water? And what if the Israelites looked back and saw the Egyptians drowning? Is that how the Israelites were going to end up? This God Moses introduced us to doesn't seem to play around. It's always heavy artillery on God's part. Plagues, one after the other. Now this, were the people singing during the crossing, or could they only sing once the crossing was concluded? Maybe the women had the answer all along. They didn't just sing for joy. They danced. They played instruments. Rashi asks, okay, where did those hand drums come from? And then quoted a midrash. The women had faith from the very beginning. They knew that they were going to celebrate. So they made the effort to bring their instruments with them. The women danced and sang because they were ready for what was happening. They, the women, were ready for miracles. Their world was deeper and richer than the world of the men. That's why Miriam saved the baby Moses. That's why the midwives saved those Israelite babies. The women were prepared to celebrate redemption and freedom, so they were the first to see and to embrace the changing world that they were expecting. Here's the key line. The first step to redemption is believing that it can come. The first step to redemption is believing that it can come. Redemption dies in the presence of despair. That was true then. It's probably true today as well. Shabbat Shalom. Happy Shabbat Shirah. Happy Tu B'Shvat. See you next week.